Forest. I had a couple of comments because you usually don't see me driving, and they say, oh, he doesn't drive. I do drive. I mean, I have a lot of trucks and trailers, but I mean, I drive myself too. But that's not really what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about today was, you know, everybody's got videos. There's a lot of hot shotters out there with some channels. A lot of them are good channels. A lot of them are okay channels. My channel, who knows? But I would like to say that everybody that's out there in YouTube land, the hot shotters out there in YouTube land, it's great communications, because some people don't know everything. In fact, no one knows everything. Of course, I tell my wife I know everything, but yeah, not really. Anyhow, so that sharing of information through YouTube is really what helps it all out. I mean, it's really what makes everything stick together, right? It helps us all, because we're all better for the information that one person has learned. Experience. So mine is more from the business aspect, but I do my fair share of miles and stuff, just like everybody else does. Mostly stuff that I want to go do. My wife goes with me all the time, so we have fun doing it. But, you know, so if you're a hot shotter out there and you're watching this, don't be afraid to pick up your phone or your camera. And if you have something interesting to say, just put together a video and throw it out there. You know, somebody's going to see it. There's a lot of interest in hot shotting right now, because it's a very popular industry to get into. I mean, I've seen some of my more business-related things. You can see there's a whole lot of bumps and jumps you got to go through to get in there. And anybody that tells you it's easy work is wrong. I mean, you're constantly fighting your clocks and your traffic conditions and weather conditions and shippers and receivers and all sorts of things that can give you a lot of problems. And let me just give you an example. So I took 2 new trucks from Jacksonville down to Fort Myers. And that's usually, whenever I'm doing something, it's usually new vehicles that I'm taking from one place to another. So I took these 2 new trucks from Jacksonville to Fort Myers, and I had a very narrow window to do it. The pickup time in Jacksonville was actually 11 o'clock, was as soon as I could get them. And then I had to have them delivered by 6 o'clock, but then I had a pick to go from Fort Myers, 2 of them, back to Jacksonville. But that pick was going to occur at 7 o'clock, was the latest I could do the pick. So it was really pushing it to get that done. I'm trucking down through there, go the way the GPS lady, never take her for granted. I went the way she said, and I hit a little bit of traffic in Orlando, but all of a sudden, I guess somebody up the highway a bit from me decided that they were hauling one of these dump trailers full of drywall and stuff like this, and decided that they wanted to flip that sucker over just to see what that was like. You know, they were going to pull their Johnny Knoxville or whatever the guy used to be called. Anyhow, took 3 lanes down to 1 lane on I-75, getting close to Fort Myers, and I'm literally just miles from the exit that I've got to get off at, with no secondary alternate route to get to where I had to go, and put a 34-minute snag in the carpet. So I called the second pickup that I was picking up from Fort Myers, which happened to be CarMax, and I called him and said, hey, you know, I realized that 7 o'clock is the latest I can pick it up. I know you guys are open till 9. My GPS is saying I'll be there by 7:05, 7:10. Is that going to be okay? And the guy literally says to me, nope, 7 o'clock is 7 o'clock. I was like, man, this guy must have had a bad day or something. So then I said, well, you know, we can always stay over and pick the 2 up the next morning and drive them back. I hadn't really planned on doing that, but I didn't have a lot to do the next day anyway, so I thought, what the heck? My wife and I thought, well, we'll spend the night in a hotel and have a nice dinner or whatever. So I asked the guy then, I said, you know what? What's the earliest I can pick it up? Figuring 7, 8 o'clock, pick it up, boom, back to Jacksonville in 6 hours, you know, you're good to go. 10 o'clock. The guy says 10 o'clock. I'm thinking, who in the world? I mean, I picked up from many, many, many dealerships, and it's 7, 8. The one dealership said 6:30. I was able to pick up the car. This guy tells me, he says 10 o'clock. I was like, well, I'm not hanging around Fort Myers till 10 o'clock. So I contacted the broker and told him what was going on, that they wouldn't accept they wouldn't let me have him after 5 minutes after 7, and he thought how ridiculous that was. So anyway, the load broker, I've worked with him many, 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 many times on this with this guy, and all my trucks I've worked with this guy. He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. We'll just put it back up there and we'll get them when we get them. And I said, okay. But that's just one story, right? And everybody out there in hotshot land has these stories. And what I think would be really cool, and maybe it wouldn't be cool, is if the hotshotters out there, even the ones without full channels, just throw together a video talking about some of your experiences and put them out there. That way, the people that want to become hotshotters, they don't just hear some of this, I made $20,000 in a week and $11,000, and it does happen. I mean, I've done it. I've made some big money in a week. I've got 6 trucks out there, 6 dualies and 6 trailers out there running around for me that do that, and so we're able to do pretty well. But my thing is, if we all got together and we threw up these videos of our experiences, at least someone then would have an experience to pull from, not just somebody telling them how they did this and got a bunch of money, but these actual experiences, like the one I just told you. So again, if it's like pulling together a great resource there for all the hotshotters. And if you're a hotshotter right now, or if you're thinking about a hotshotter and you're paying attention to hotshotting, I mean, you can drive pretty much anywhere and you see a hotshotter this way or a hotshotter that way, or some weird looking thing on a trailer this way, or some weird looking thing on a trailer that way, which is typically what hotshotters do. And anyway, that's just my idea. If it takes off, it takes off. If it doesn't, oh well. Thank you.